In a land far beyond the tallest mountains and the quietest clouds, there stood a kingdom made entirely of ice. It was not a cold or frightening place, but a shining, sparkling world that looked as if it had been painted by magic itself. Towers rose like frozen flowers reaching for the sky. Bridges curved like smooth glass ribbons over shimmering canals, and the ground glittered softly, as if tiny stars had fallen from the heavens and decided to rest there forever. Snow did not fall harshly here. It drifted gently, slow and calm, like feathers floating through the air. This was the frozen kingdom, and at its heart stood a palace so beautiful that even the moon slowed its journey across the sky just to admire it. The palace walls shimmered with gentle blue light, reflecting every color of the sky, while tall windows glowed warmly at night like friendly lanterns guiding lost dreams home. The palace belonged to the Snow Queen. She was known across distant lands for her grace, wisdom, and calm beauty. Her long white hair flowed like freshly fallen snow in the winter breeze, and her gown shimmered in soft shades of blue and silver, moving like a frozen river wherever she walked. A delicate crystal crown rested lightly upon her head, glowing faintly whenever she smiled, which, these days, was not very often. Her eyes were kind and thoughtful, yet they carried a quiet sadness, like a beautiful song that had slowly forgotten its melody. The Snow Queen ruled her kingdom with fairness and gentle care. She listened to every concern, protected every creature, and treated even the smallest snow bunny with respect. Under her rule, the ice gardens bloomed with crystal flowers that chimed softly when touched by the wind. The frozen lakes remained smooth and safe, and the northern lights danced joyfully above the palace each night, painting the sky with waves of color. Yet when the palace halls grew silent, when footsteps faded and laughter disappeared into echoes, the queen often found herself alone. She would stand by the tall frozen windows, her breath fogging the glass slightly, gazing out at her kingdom with a heart that felt heavier than ice. The kingdom sparkled with beauty, but inside her chest lived a quiet emptiness she could not name. Long ago, the Snow Queen had learned to be strong on her own. She believed that a queen must never burden others with her worries, that showing sadness was a sign of weakness. So she locked her feelings deep inside her heart. Just like the ancient ice crystal hidden beneath the palace, the powerful source of the kingdom's magic. But even the strongest magic cannot replace warmth. Even a queen, no matter how powerful, needs companionship. Floating nearby most days was Lumi the snow sprite. Lumi was small, round, and bright, like a snowflake kissed by sunshine. His body glowed with a soft light, and his tiny scarf changed colors depending on his mood, which was almost always cheerful pink or playful yellow. He loved spinning in the air, popping in and out of places unexpectedly, and making others smile whenever he could. "Your Majesty," Lumi said one morning, hovering directly in front of the queen's face, "you forgot to smile again today." The Snow Queen blinked, surprised, then let out a gentle laugh. "Did I?" she asked softly. "Yes," Lumi replied, placing his tiny hands on his hips with seriousness. "And when you don't smile, the icicles droop. Look." He pointed upward. "That one looks very sad." The queen glanced at the ceiling and smiled just a little. Instantly, the icicle shimmered brighter, straightening proudly as if it had been waiting for that moment all along. Lumi clapped with joy. "See? Your smile makes everything better." The queen smiled a bit longer this time. But when Lumi floated away to check on the snow bunnies in the garden, her smile slowly faded once more. She sighed a soft sound, like a gentle winter wind passing through empty halls. That same day, far beyond the borders of the frozen kingdom, a young traveler named Taro made his way through the snow. His boots crunched lightly with each step, and his breath formed little clouds in the air. Taro was small but brave, wrapped in a warm coat patched with many cheerful colors. A long scarf fluttered behind him like a friendly flag waving hello to the world. He had heard many stories about the Ice Kingdom. Some travelers said it was too quiet. Others said it was lonely. But Taro felt something pulling him forward, like a whisper carried by the wind, calling him gently by name. "I just want to see it," he said to himself, smiling as snowflakes landed on his nose. A place made of ice must have a story to tell. When Taro crossed the shimmering ice bridge into the kingdom, he expected guards, warnings, or stern faces. Instead, he was greeted by giggling snow creatures sliding past him on frozen paths. Little ice-birds perched on railings, chirping melodies that sounded like tiny bells. Nearby, a group of snow bunnies paused their game to stare at him in surprise. A warm traveler. One bunny squeaked. "A colorful one," said another, hopping closer. Taro laughed and waved shyly. "Hello. I hope I'm not in the wrong place." Before anyone could answer, a flash of light zipped through the air. Lumi appeared, gasping dramatically. A visitor. A real visitor. He spun around Taro twice, inspecting him carefully. "You're not frozen. That's good. And you're smiling," he added happily. "That's even better." "I smile a lot," Taro said. "It helps me when I'm nervous." Lumi nodded with great seriousness. "We could use more of that around here." With excitement, Lumi led Taro through the kingdom. He showed him ice fountains that sang soft tunes when water touched stone, snow lanterns that glowed brighter whenever someone told a joke, and magical paths that changed color with every step. Taro's eyes sparkled with wonder, and his laughter echoed through the streets, bouncing off the ice walls like happy music. High above, from her palace window, the Snow Queen noticed something unusual. The kingdom looked brighter than before. The lights shimmered warmly, and the air itself seemed lighter, as if the snow had learned a new song. "What is happening today?" she wondered softly. Curiosity guided her down the palace steps. As she reached the grand courtyard, she saw Lumi chatting excitedly with a small traveler wrapped in bright colors. Snow creatures gathered around them, listening closely as Taro told a story with wide gestures and animated expressions. "And then," Taro said, laughing, "the cloud sneezed, and it snowed in summer." The courtyard burst into laughter. Even the shy snow foxes hiding behind ice pillars peeked out, smiling. The Snow Queen paused, unseen, her heart stirring at the sound. It had been a very long time since laughter like that had filled her kingdom. Lumi noticed her first. "Your Majesty," he called, nearly bumping into a snow lamp in his excitement. "Come meet our visitor." Taro turned and froze not from the cold, but from awe. He had never seen anyone so graceful and glowing. He bowed quickly, almost tripping over his boots. "I'm sorry if I shouldn't be here," he said nervously. "I didn't mean to cause trouble." The Snow Queen knelt slightly so she could meet his eyes. Her voice was gentle like falling snow. "You are not causing trouble," she said kindly. "You are welcome here." Taro looked up and smiled, a warm, honest smile that made something flutter inside the Queen's chest. "What brings you to the Frozen Kingdom?" she asked. "I like stories," Taro replied simply, and this place felt like one. The Queen fell quiet. No one had ever described her kingdom that way before. As the day passed, Taro explored the palace under Lumi's enthusiastic guidance. The Snow Queen found herself following along, listening, watching, and slowly joining in. She laughed when Lumi slipped on purpose to make Taro giggle. She smiled when the ice flowers bloomed brighter as Taro admired them. For the first time in a long while, the palace felt alive, but as the sun dipped low, painting the ice in shades of pink and gold, the Queen felt a familiar ache return. She watched Taro prepare to rest by the guest fire, knowing visitors always left. They had places to go, people to return to. She would remain, as always, surrounded by beauty, yet alone. That night, standing by the glowing crystal window, the Snow Queen placed a hand over her heart. The kingdom slept peacefully, but deep within the palace, the ancient ice crystal flickered faintly, responding to her quiet emotions. Far below, Lumi watched her with worried eyes, his scarf turning a soft blue, and nearby Taro gazed up at the palace, feeling that the story he had stepped into was only just beginning. The night after Taro arrived was quiet, but it did not feel empty. The moonlight poured gently over the frozen kingdom, painting the ice in soft silver shades that shimmered like calm water. Snow creatures slept curled together in cozy corners, lanterns hummed their sleepy glow, and the palace rested like a peaceful dream wrapped in frost and starlight. Even the wind seemed to whisper softly, careful not to disturb the calm. Yet inside the Snow Queen's chamber, something was changing. She stood by the crystal window, her reflection shimmering faintly in the glass. The light caught her crown and scattered tiny rainbows across the walls. For the first time in many years, her thoughts were not heavy with duty alone. She kept thinking about the warm laugh she had heard that day, about the bright scarf fluttering through her kingdom, and about the way the air itself seemed to breathe differently when joy filled the streets. "Why does my heart feel so awake?" she whispered to herself. The question surprised her. She had not spoken to her own heart in a long time. Deep beneath the palace floor, the ancient ice crystal responded with a gentle glow. It was not bright or sharp like before, but warm and steady. It's like a slow heartbeat reminding the kingdom that it was alive. The next morning arrived, wrapped in pale gold light. Sunbeams spilled across the frozen kingdom, sliding gently over rooftops and towers, making the ice sparkle as if it had just woken up and stretched. The day felt lighter than usual, as though the sky itself was smiling. Taro woke early beside the guest fire, stretching with a quiet yawn. Tiny frost sparks danced along the walls, twinkling playfully as if greeting him. He smiled back at them, feeling strangely at home. Lumi zoomed in circles around him, nearly bumping into a snow lamp, then stopping suddenly. "You're still here?" Lumi said happily, eyes glowing bright. "I am," Taro replied. "It feels like I belong here today." Lumi paused mid-spin, his scarf shifting into a gentle green. "You do?" he said softly, and for once he did not joke. Soon the Snow Queen joined them in the courtyard. She greeted Taro with a calm smile that stayed a little longer than before, and the snow beneath her feet shimmered warmly. Together, the three of them walked through the kingdom. The Queen showed Taro places. Even Lumi had forgotten quiet ice balconies, where the wind sang soft melodies. Hidden gardens where crystal flowers bloomed only for those who listened closely. And frozen mirrors that reflected not faces, but feelings. As they walked, Taro asked questions. Simple ones filled with honest curiosity. Does the snow ever get lonely? Do the stars visit the palace at night? Does being a queen ever feel heavy? The Snow Queen was surprised by how icily she answered. She spoke of snow as if it were a friend, of stars as gentle travelers, and of being a queen as both a gift and a weight. With every answer, her voice grew softer, warmer, more alive. Even Lumi listened quietly, floating closer than usual. But as the day went on, something strange began to happen. The wind shifted, becoming restless. It no longer hummed its side. The sky dimmed slightly, and the gentle glow of the ice lanterns flickered as if unsure. Snow creatures slowed their play. Lumi noticed first his scarf turning pale blue. "The crystal feels." Unsure, he murmured. The Snow Queen felt it too. A familiar tightness settled in her chest, like an old memory returning. The ancient ice crystal was powerful, but it was sensitive to her heart. When she closed herself off, the magic weakened. She stopped walking. "I must return to the palace," she said quietly. Taro looked up at her, concern in his eyes. "Did I do something wrong?" "No," she replied quickly, kneeling beside him so they were eye to eye. "You did everything right." But as she stood and walked away, the familiar walls of silence began to rise around her heart once more. Tall and cold. That night the kingdom grew unusually still. Snowflakes stopped drifting mid-air, then slowly settled. The northern lights faded early, leaving the sky quiet and dark. Deep inside the palace, the ice crystal flickered unevenly, casting uncertain shadows that stretched and shrank along the walls. The Snow Queen stood alone before it, hands clasped tightly. "I cannot depend on others," she told herself. "A queen must be strong." But the crystal dimmed further, and a soft chill spread through the palace halls, not cold, but hollow, like a room missing its song. Lumi hovered nearby, his glow dimmer than usual. "Your Majesty," he said gently, "strength doesn't mean being alone." She did not answer. Her silence echoed louder than words. Outside, Taro sensed something was wrong. The air felt heavier, quieter, as if the kingdom were holding its breath. He wrapped his scarf tighter, and looked toward the palace. The story is hurting. He whispered without hesitation. He walked toward the heart of the palace. Snow creatures watched silently as he passed, their eyes filled with hope and worry. Some bowed. Others reached out gently as if wishing him luck. Inside the crystal chamber, the Snow Queen turned as Taro entered. The crystal's glow flickered between them. "You should not be here," she said softly. "I know," Taro replied, his voice calm but brave. "But stories don't heal if everyone stays quiet." The queen looked away. "You don't understand. My magic depends on control, on distance." Taro stepped closer, his boots crunching lightly on the ice floor. "Where I come from," he said, "warmth doesn't weaken things. It helps them grow." The crystal flickered again, brighter this time. Lumi floated between them, glowing stronger. "He's right," he said. "You taught me that kindness is magic too." The Snow Queen's breath trembled. Slowly, she placed her hand over her heart. "I was afraid," she admitted. "Afraid that if I opened my heart, I would lose everything." Taro smiled gently. "Sometimes," he said, "opening your heart is how you save it." For a long moment, the chamber was silent. Then the Snow Queen closed her eyes and let herself feel everything she had been holding back. Loneliness, hope, joy, and love. Not romantic love, but the deep warmth of caring, of connection, belonging. The ice crystal began to glow, a icy blue, but a soft golden light. The warmth spread through the palace, through the streets, through every corner of the kingdom. Snow began to fall again, gently and happily. Lanterns brightened. The northern lights returned, dancing brighter than ever. The Snow Queen opened her eyes, tears sparkling like diamonds on her lashes. The kingdom had not weakened. It had grown stronger outside. The snow creatures cheered. Lumi laughed, spinning wildly, his scarf glowing every color at once. The Snow Queen knelt before Taro. "You reminded me of something precious," she said. "Thank you." Taro shook his head. "The kingdom reminded me first." From that day on, the frozen kingdom changed, not in shape or beauty, but in spirit. The palace halls echoed with laughter. Visitors came and were welcomed. The Snow Queen ruled with the same wisdom as before, but now with an open heart. Taro stayed for a while longer, sharing stories, helping Lumi with playful mischief, and bringing warmth wherever he went. And when the time came for him to leave, the Snow Queen walked with him to the ice bridge. "Will you come back?" she asked. Taro smiled. Stories always do. As he walked away, the kingdom shimmered brighter than ever, and the Snow Queen, no longer lonely, watched with a full heart, knowing that true love lives in friendship, courage, and the warmth we choose to share. The frozen kingdom sparkled on, not just with ice and magic, but with joy.